Welcome back to the Mark Moses Show, only right here on Sports Radio 95.9 The Fan. And right now, we got a great guy on the phone, head football coach at Miami, Al Golden. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good. Got a little break from camp and just taking care of some things as we get ready for Florida Atlanta coming up.
I know you're going to start that game. What is it? August 30th at home should be a good game. And then I know you got the Gators. We'll talk about that in a minute. But coming off a 7-5 season, you're going to go here into year 3. What are your expectations for your football program going into this season?
I think the biggest thing is to for our guys to continue to be process-oriented, just take it one day at a time. I mean, when you come to a place like Miami, the standard is there. The expectations are there, so we're not worried about anybody on the external. We played 21 freshmen a year ago against the third hardest schedule. We should have a very poised team, very experienced team, very mature team. So, again, I think for us it's just one game at a time to learn from last year and be consistent. We weren't consistent to any great measure last year.
We're here with head football coach Al Golden for the Miami Hurricanes, and I have to ask you this, and I'm interested to see how you answer it about you had the self-imposed bowl ban. You should have been in that ACC title game last year against Florida State. Didn't have a bowl as well. What are your thoughts moving forward with this football program going from that?
Well, I think we've given up a lot. Obviously, we've given up 2 postseason bowl games and a chance to do something that no Miami team has ever had a chance to do, and that is play for the ACC title in Charlotte. Obviously, our quarterback at the end of last year was playing as good as anybody. He had 11 touchdowns over the last 4 games and no interceptions, and a number of 400-yard games. So I think we've given up a lot. I think it's time to bring closure to this chapter. I'm proud of our young men and our student athletes, and certainly the leadership here at the University of Miami have helped us endure this and helped us fight through this adversity and this cloud, if you will. But these young men are doing things the right way, and they deserve an opportunity to move forward as student athletes at the University of Miami.
You brought up your quarterback, Stephen Morris. He's kind of the seniority on that offense now, and like you said, he's playing well late last season. What are your expectations for him going into this 2013 campaign?
Well, I think it's clearly his team now. I think he's settled in. He's not relaxed, and he's not content, but he's certainly tooling every day and trying to improve his game. His focus right now is finite in terms of his game, in terms of concepts, and in terms of his reads. So I really like his progress and how he's elevated those around him. I think that's a sign of any good leader. That's the mark of any good leader. And I think that's what Steven's doing for us right now. Is he's elevating the play of everybody around him, not just on offense, but all 3 units.
We're here on the Mark Moses Show, only here on Sports Radio 95.9 The Fan, with head football coach Al Golden for the Miami Hurricanes. Now, I want you to know, some Cane fans, they were telling me about this guy, Duke Johnson, how much of a stud he is. What do you see from him so far in fall camp that he can help this team moving forward?
Well, I think Duke's had a good offseason. He's 8 or 9 pounds stronger than he was a year ago. He's more durable. He's certainly smarter, so he's going to play with a quiet mind and play a little bit faster if that's possible. I think, he's an unselfish young man. He's a humble young man. And I think he plays with a chip on his shoulder. I think he plays with like someone that's got something to prove. And there's no question that he has the makeup to be one of the best. He's certainly on and off the field. He's a competitor and someone that wants to improve every day. Very special young man and someone, obviously for the fan base out there, worth coming to see here in 10 days when we open up.
Switching gears to the defense, and I'm sorry to tell you this, Coach, I think you already know this, but it wasn't looking good in some of those games, especially against Virginia. Also, Duke late gave up about 40 points in that game. Only 13 sacks. I know you know these stats, but how can your defense improve here in 2013?
Again, the number one task of our defense is to let 2012 go. That's one of the hardest things, is to understand that, we played a lot of young people over there. I think we played 13 or 14 freshmen on the defensive side of the ball. We were much more mature in the spring, much more poised. Our ME should be down. I think we had 34 defensive penalties a year ago. That should give you an idea of our immaturity and lack of confidence in technique. So we got to clean that up. The first, order of business to being a good defense is eliminating the things that are, causing defects, and certainly mental errors, explosive plays and penalties are three areas that we can control, and certainly we should be more mature, more poised, and we're a great deal stronger and bigger than we were a year ago, which is exciting for us.
We're here with head football coach Al Golden. You talked about the opener, and then the second game of the season. I have to ask you, you got the Florida Gators coming to town. I don't know if you guys are going to have a rivalry moving forward. You never know with schedules, but how big is that game for you early in the season, especially the non-conference?
Well, they're all big. I think the biggest challenge for the 2013 Canes, as I said earlier in the outset, is to prove that we can be a consistent team and play at a high level, not just within games, but from week in and week out. We did not do that a year ago. We didn't do that from one game to the next, and we didn't do that from one quarter to the next. And so, we're excited about having Florida on the schedule, as I'm sure their young people are as well. But I think the biggest thing for us is to stay focused on what's at hand, and we got 6 or 7 practices here to get ready for Florida Atlantic, and most importantly, improve our team. And just take it one game at a time. That's the challenge. When we get to Florida week, it will be exciting, and you don't really have to have a lot of pep talks and all that. They get it. But the measure of a good team is they don't judge the opponent. They treat every opponent the same, regardless of what the external is saying.
Coach, if I may ask you about the ACC in general, you're adding all these teams this year with Pittsburgh and Syracuse, and then moving forward, you got Louisville, and I know Notre Dame's going to have their 5 games. What are your thoughts on all this expansion moving forward, the ACC?
Well, I think the ACC is positioned right now, really, to take the next step. We have the most television sets now in the country. We certainly have the most densely populated area, from Boston down to, Miami, which is tremendous for the conference moving forward. We have a great deal of tradition. Certainly, the University of Miami is a big part of that, not just our past, but what we want to represent moving forward. For the ACC to be considered one of the premier conferences in the country, not only do you need that TV support and the fan support, and obviously the support of the presidents and the conference and the institution members, but I think, in terms of the ACC, Miami has to be a player. Miami has to be a national player. Right now, Florida State and Clemson are moving back onto the national scene, and nobody's been more steady than Virginia Tech. Certainly Louisville is hot right now, but in terms of the University of Miami, we have a responsibility, not just to our fans and to our program and to our student athletes, but certainly to the conference to do our part in returning the University of Miami back to where we need to be.
Coach Golden, I'll end on a light note. I got to let you know, I moved here in May. I'm originally from Chicago. I'm new to Florida. I give you credit for wearing the tie on the sideline and the dress shirt. That is unbelievable. You are better than most men when you're doing that out there.
Are you just saying because it's hot, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'll tell you what. If the last thing I'm really worried about during the game is whether I'm sweating or how I look. To be honest with you, it's just the tie is something that I've become accustomed to, and it started back at Temple when we had the longest win streak in the 112-year history of that school, and went to the 3rd bowl game in that same time span in over a century. So I stayed with the tie when I came to Miami, and it's something I really don't really think too much about, and I know people have fun with it, but hopefully we won't look too much like Ted Stryker trying to land an airplane. But other than that, we'll be good.
Has there been a time when you're like, all right, the heck with it, I'm getting rid of this tie. I can't. This game's getting too crazy.
Not really. I really, like I said, I really don't think about it. I think people make more a big deal than anything else, but I really don't think about it. I'm in tune to the game and everything that's going on the sideline, and just and making sure we're coaching the kids up and we're all on the same page.
No, that's awesome stuff. Head football coach Al Golden for the Miami Hurricanes. Give him a follow on Twitter at GoldenAl. You post great stuff on there, by the way. I just want you to know that.
Well, I appreciate that. I think we're we from an organizational standpoint, we wear our heart on our sleeve. There's certain things that we believe in, and everything that we post on there is indicative of what's being taught in here. So I think it's a great insight, not only to wait from a leadership standpoint or a management standpoint, but also from a cultural organizational standpoint. I think it's a great insight if you're a Canes fan, or if you're just a leadership or business management buff. I think it's all good things that we've learned along the years that we share with everybody.
August 30th at home, the opener against FAU. Coach, I appreciate coming on. Great guy, and good luck on the new season.
Hey, good luck to you in Melbourne there too, Mark, okay?